Oh, hey guys. Let's really finish that fiery explosion animation. In the last tutorial, I opened up saying that we were going to finish this guy, and then we didn't. My apologies. But I promise we're going to get around to in between it. Alright. But before that, there's two more things that I want to clean up on this. I've been looking at these frames and I'm like, I really want to clean that up before I in between it. So you'll notice that the thickness here is pretty thick, and the thickness here is pretty thick, but then it's thin in between them. We gotta fix that, guys. It's thick, thin, thick again, and then gone. Seeing that? I'm seeing it. This should be thin. It's just the right thing to do, guys. I mean, the fire's just dying out. That shouldn't be getting thicker. The point is right here, and then I moved it over here, and then it's back here again. That's also bad. It's making the subtle things not wobble that really counts. Because if the subtle things are wobbling, you might have a hard time putting your finger on it, but your subconscious will know it's there. Okay, second thing I want to change. This guy. He just dies. And then, like, there's a little bit of flame equally dispersed, and then it dies. And that's lame, because it's like the hot core. I mean, the hottest part should live a little longer, I think. So I'm going to turn on onion skinning. And I'm going to have it, like, flare out. Because that's what fire does. I don't know, maybe it kind of does a thing like this, makes a big grand exit before it fizzles. So we hit Control Enter. Yeah, I like that little thing in the middle. I'll keep it. It adds even more to the fieriness of the explosion, right? I mean, the fire just swirls around and dies out in a more interesting way instead of just disappearing on frame whatever that was. Frame 10. Alright, so we're ready in between. That part that I promised has finally arrived. So we'll bring in our onion skinning so it's only one frame wide. And then it's the fun part you've all been waiting for. Where we finish this guy. So excited. Okay, so it's going from orange to brown. Here's a fun trick. If I go to linear gradient and I select my brown, and I select my orange, then I can come and I can see the in-between color. If I want to grab that in-between color, I click on this color here, or this color here, but that covers up the color, which you don't want. Oops, I got solid color. Switch back to linear gradient. It's okay, your gradient's still there. So if you click on this box here, the eyedropper comes up. If you click directly in between, it will select the in-between color. How sweet is that? Turn on the helpful onion skin mode. I think that's not its official name, but it should be because it's helpful. Very helpful. And the color is right in between the two. This just stays brown. So I'll zoom in a little more so I can get the wobble out of there and be precisely on target. I was not precise. Not even close. Well, I guess it was close, but that stays the same brown. Oh boy, what was that? That was not the way you're supposed to words and paint. Oh my gosh. This is awful. Yes, I promise I do this for a living. Okay, moving on. We'll just forget about that. What just happened. I'll do the big shape first. Well, no, I'll do the little shape first, and here's why. The little shape is, because it's smaller than the big one, it's not going to freaking cover up my before and after frames. So it's just going to be easier to see what the heck is going on. Like if I had drawn this shape first and then paint filled it, I can't see this shape. It's like disappearing behind it right there. Thanks, Flash, for covering it up. You know, that would be a nice feature if the outline onion skinning showed through fills. But instead, the frame before sorts behind the fills. Does that make sense? It's a pain. It's a pain. Here's the very important frame where this shape begins to turn into that shape. I want to check this one with outline because I actually don't know if that's going to look good. Ooh, it's transitioning to dark as well. If I want to get really fancy, and I do, I could do that same trick. The light to dark, and then I can just hit eyedropper. See, that's the funny thing. If you hit eyedropper, you can't pick from there. You can only pick from things out on the stage. You have to click the paint fill and then select in the middle. Don't ask me why. I don't know. Ooh, you know what though? You know what? It'd be better if that was the in-between color too. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. I'm doing it. There we go. Alright, we're just doing all kinds of things here today. I don't know, why not? Yep. In-between colors. Away. I'm gonna have this one cool off quicker. Because right now these two are cooling off at the exact same time. There we go. It's cooling off quicker now. See that? It's darkened, and there we go. I'll even make it the darkest color before that other one becomes dark. See that? Just a little bit offset. I want to spend some time on this. You see how they're different now, and that feels better. Different is better, guys. World peace. Alright. Just thinking we could all get along a lot better than we do, you know what I mean? That's all I want. It's for all these shapes to be different, but working in harmony. That's the goal of any good effect. Bad effects, I don't know what those goals are. I guess to just be shippable? Good enough? Minimum viable product? Those are all bad effect goals. And you should know better. You should really know better, guys. Alright, so a lot of these shapes, admittedly, are pretty basic and simple in-between wise. There's not much to it, but I could still talk about stuff. I guess this is the time when I think about my life and how I'm spending my time drawing frame after frame after frame. And I kind of reflect on my day a little bit and think about what I ate for lunch and whether or not it's giving me indigestion or making me fat. Regretting those decisions. Or being really glad that, you know, I went for the salad instead. There's a wobbler. See that? Got thinking about food and then I got a wobbler going on. So this is my current frame and it is outside of those two frames. So bring that bad boy in there. And erase if you have to. There we go. Like so. Cha-chow. And notice that there is like a jaggedy edge there. Right there. That's okay. It's no biggie. The big thing is you just don't want one line to wobble up and then back on the next frame. If the line kind of does a little bit of this, And it's like maybe a little pointed more. Like, that's actually not that bad in most cases. If you're thinking of it in terms of this being like that big. I mean, honestly, you can't even see that, but you get the idea. It doesn't matter. Little wobbles, no biggie. You're gonna end up spending your entire life fixing little wobbles. And that's just not a good use of your time. And then you're gonna hate effects, and then you're gonna quit doing it because you spend all your stinking time on pointless things when you could have been making awesomeness. There's a lesson for life in there too. Somewhere. Oh boy, they're so similar. Let's see how I did. Oh yeah, that's not bad. Okay, now it's bad. Wait. There we go. I like it. I like it. Ship it. It's shippable. MVP, minimum viable product. Here we go. Alright. Yeah, I should just let some of these die. Not at the exact same time though. Like, see this guy over here and that guy over there, they're dying on the exact same frame. How dramatic. I'll let him live just one frame longer. It's probably going to be imperceptible to the human eye, but there you go. So I turn off outline mode and I just quickly go through. This only takes a second, guys. Check and make sure stuff is not blinking. I cannot tell you how many times I or someone I know and care about has left things blinking. You'd be surprised. Okay. F7, these guys are going to take a little longer. A little bit. But at least I'm here. Lucky you. Alright, this is going to be tricksy. There's a lot of shapes going on here, guys. This is where we separate the men from the boys when it comes to in-betweening. If you get in between this, you got it. You're good. You win. So, a common mistake when you've got shadow shapes going on that kind of mimic the outline. See how that shape, that shape, that shape, and that shape all kind of look the same? You got to use your brain and remember that this shape comes from this one, not from this one. I know that they're the same color, this guy and this guy, but the fact that they're the same color means, whoops, that they are on the same layer. Same color, same layer. Hope that makes sense. So, it's back on. And let's get cracking. Okay, so this is going to be directly... I'm just using the line tool now because brush tools are for losers. Just kidding, they're really not. I actually really like brush tool. But for this, I'm going to put on my glove. You can get gardening gloves at Walmart, and then you can chop off the fingers so that when you're trying to do precise movements on your screen, your wrist does not bind up on the glass, or even if you have a regular Wacom tablet, it won't bind up on the plastic surface. And you'll be thinking Walmart or your other local gardening store where gardening gloves are sold. These are like the cheapest gloves I could possibly find. I think you can only buy them in like packs of 10. So I turn the left-handed gloves inside out, then chop the fingers off of those, and boom, right-handed glove. You're welcome. All right, so I don't know what that is. We'll get back to that later. So we got a bump here. The temptation would be to do a bump coming out like this, right? Like kind of halfway in between. But I gotta remember this whole thing is moving in that direction. So I want my bump to start lower, like so. And then I'll in between like this. You might be lost. Let me show you where I'm at. Okay, this is the white line. Oh yeah, I could leave outline mode off and just outline onion skinning so you can see my white line more clearly in between the other lines. Maybe I'll make that something really noticeable, like green. The green line is the one that we're doing. Oh boy. Okay, so this guy is from this guy. So then turn on that brain. Yeah, I'll hit redo. Let's just go with it, guys. I don't know. Comes over to that point, up there. This stuff, I wish I could tell you there was a magic bullet. I really do. I'm feeling your pain right now because you're thinking to yourself, oh my goodness. There's so much information to keep track of. What a pain. Notice that I'm deleting these little bits that come off just because it clears up my brain space to think of the lines that matter. But when you're drawing, please overshoot. Please overshoot. Because if you do not overshoot, if you do that, and then you do that, you will get points that don't touch. I lucked out because these touched. Beep, beep. Points that don't touch in Flash are very common, and they result in a paint fill not working properly. So if I do that and that, it looks like they're touching, but they're not. And a paint fill will go right through there. And the whole point in drawing your lines in the first place is to keep your paint fills from doing that. This comes in too high because that point's there and that point is there. After a while, your brain starts to see these patterns. It really does get easier, I promise. You just gotta practice a lot. Yay, it works. I'm not gonna leave that in there because that makes it busier than I need it to be. Okay, delete that. Now, how am I gonna get this to transition? Well, that point really is that point there, so I can at least do this. Yes. Yes. I'm gonna worry about the rest later. I guess it's that time, it's that do or die moment where I gotta come back out and check out my animation. Okay, so it's breaking apart. Now, this in between is gonna be where I decide how in the world it breaks apart. The good news is it's only one frame. Yay. That means it's moving so fast that if I really mess it up, people will only be able to tell a little bit. That's good news, right? I think I can help myself out by doing the parts that are more concrete first. Like this guy. Oops. There we go. Oh, by the way, I've already done drawing on this frame, so it's filled in. Another mistake is to go to this one and forget that you were working on that one because it already has artwork on it. What a convoluted mess I've created. This is why they usually hand off in between to the new guy. But for you, I'm guessing, because you're watching this tutorial, oops, I double clicked. Because you're watching this tutorial, there is no new guy. Or, you're the new guy. Congratulations, new guy. You get to learn how to in-between. That ridge becomes that ridge. Sometimes you get this too, where like your lines are on top of each other, but they're not the same line. Like this line here is the leading edge of this guy, and this line here is the shadow shape of this guy. So I need to go from shadow shape, which is here, to shadow shape, which is here. Lucky you, fellow in-betweeners. I'm going to delete those because I'm nitpicky. That comes down like that. And I don't know what's happening up here. I'll worry about it later. It's the nice thing about this. You guys can worry about it later. I guess this does this. Sure, it does now. Yeah, actually I think that is what it does. That's like really thin and awkward. So you'll find that oftentimes your in-betweens, when you do them just right, become kind of awkward. And you gotta keep an eye on that because it might not be right. So I got a shadow shape here. Oh, I see what's happening. It's thin and awkward there. Well, forget that. I'm going to make this less awkward. More weird tangents. So it's touching there, and then it's touching there. That means it should touch there. This guy should just do his own thing. No, I needed to touch sooner. So you see how that tip is tracking forward? And then this shadow shape is appearing. Cool, we got it. Alright, now for the inevitable moment of truth. That won't work. I'm going to have to do it this way. This line contacts there. This one contacts there. So we're going to do one that contacts here. Now I gotta turn this back on. Let's see what the heck is going on. Oh my gosh, what have I done? Oh, that's fun. I can do this shape. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. I like it. Guys, I like it. It's kind of weird that the yellow is disappearing because the yellow is the hot spot. But like I said, this is just one frame. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. This corner is here, then it's over here, and it's up. I could make it a little better by putting it more to the right. There, to there, to there. See what I did there? It's unwrapping. Oh, I see what's happening. Oh, I see. Let's just leave this connected. That's what I say. What I say goes, because I'm the one doing the tutorial. So this lump is becoming that lump, so we'll lump them together. Like so. And we're now connecting this top shape, this big mass up here, to this mass down here. Instead of leaving a gap here, because it'll just make it feel more sticky and fiery for longer. And let's admit, being fiery for a longer time is a good thing. There we go. Now they're connected. Like that. Ooh, there's a little point coming up there. I like that point. Let's add that earlier too. Yeah. Alright, we can't just have this yellow going away into nothing right away, so let's leave a spot for it right there. That's weird. Why is it doing that? Help. Let's let it burn away a little faster. There we go. There we go. It's all about smoothing things out. Where's that, guys? Alright, this tutorial is just going to go for a while. I don't know any way around it. I mean, I could do one tutorial per frame, if you'd rather. Or whatever. Turn that back on. Do the easy part. This is going to get a lot easier and quicker as my frames start breaking apart. Being able to entertain yourself is a plus when you're in between. That would contact right about there. As I can see, these two contact points are there and there, so I put mine there with a nice curve. This is like pro strats for in-between, guys. Welcome to the next level. Right. This shadow shape going on there. And then this guy's pretty straightforward. He's just moving out. He's moving out of his mom and dad's house. He couldn't be prouder. Sure. Alright, so this big fiery shape here becomes this little fiery shape there. So I gotta figure out how to do that. It's like coming all the way into there. That's how I do it. That's how we do. I don't know, that might look good. Might look terrible. Nope, it looks good. Shrinking on in there. Like fiery shapes do. You know what I just realized? This shadow shape won't exist because this is going to be orange. And what's our rule? No dark shadow shapes against the bright orange. It's a rule. Don't break it. Or I'll break you. Just kidding, I don't break people. I don't know, this shape has a point over here and a point right there, so I guess I'll make them, I mean, I'm making this up as I go, guys. I don't know if you can tell by now. Alright. Yeah. Okay. Do that. Alright, so this shadow shape I never figured out, because holy cow, I see why. Okay, it kind of, I could do a tangent, but tangents are lame-o, so I'll get it just a little bit to the side of the thing. No, that was a bad idea. Oh, I hate it when this happens. Okay, so it's right on that, so I have to pick a side. Sure. It's one frame, right? MVP. Woo! Alright. And this is where you hope and pray that all your lines connect. I'm just flipping back, eye dropping, paint filling, back, eye dropping, paint filling. Check it, make sure nothing's blinking away. This blinking happens. I can double click and hit delete, but that won't get all my lines because there's floating shapes like that. So instead I'm going to hit Control A, select my line, and hit no line. And now the moment of truth. You have done an in-between. Assuming you're actually following along. If you're not following along, then I did an in-between. You had nothing to do with it. I don't like that, doing that, so I'm going to make it do that. So there. So there. This is usually when I hit Control Enter and watch my animation blink. Because I just spent all that time on that frame and I really wanted to see it, even though the rest of the animation is blinking. Looks awesome. Except for the blinking part. Let's make it not blink. Wow, those are some wobbly lines. See what I mean? It's way simpler. I mean, you've only got some weird stuff going on, like over here. It's not like everything. You know what I'm saying? Sure, I don't know. Looks right. I mean, this is breaking apart, right? So I get to choose again how I break it apart. Do I tell it softly? Let it down softly? You don't tell somebody softly when you're breaking. You don't be like, I'm breaking up with you. I don't know. Maybe that'll work. Depends on who you're breaking up with, I guess. Just tell it how it is. Just break it off. When it's gonna break off, like, don't do none of this, like, but we're still like inches and centimeters away. No, man, like, get it out of there. Get it away from that. Clean break. That's my advice. Right. Oh boy. Oh boy, we've got another thing going on, don't we? Yeah, okay, so that works. Sure. Yeah, that shadow shape comes down there and then it goes there and we're fine. I like it. Did that shadow shape just disappear? I went this whole time without realizing that my shadow shape is MIA. Completely. Some indication that that hole is forming. And then make the hole form. And then put the freaking shadow shape in there on that keyframe. Jeez, I don't know, you're losing it, man. You're losing touch. Okay. Maybe it does that. Yeah, it's doing that. Whoops. This part isn't filled yet. Okay, we're good. No more time on that. Here we go. That point and that point should line up. So intersected right about there. Sure. I keep saying that a lot. Yeah, it's good. Okay, so that curve is turning into that curve. I really am sorry for how hard this is. But at the same time, it's good that it's hard, because if it were easy, everyone would be doing it, and you would have a hard time getting a job. But if you can just learn how to do this, well, I'm not going to guarantee you a job, because you still might have a way to go. But if you can learn to do this well, then yeah, it's pretty safe to say you'll get a job. Words to live by. Do things well, and you'll get jobs doing them. That is my advice to you. Okay, this is a bump forming here. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what my nephew says. He says, oh yeah. Mostly when he's winning at Pokemon. It's adorable. Gamer at age, I don't know when he started. He's probably playing games since he was 5. And apparently now we're talking about my nephew in this tutorial. Shout out to my nephew if he ever watches this video. If he's ever more interested in making games than playing them. Way to go, boy. Way to go. Or man, if you're older now, and it's like 10 years later. Be a man by then. Alright. There we go. Guys, I'm not going to blame you if you put me on mute. I'm really not. Although, there's bound to be some tidbits, useful tidbits, as I go along. I'll make it a point as I think of stuff to demonstrate the tidbits. Tidbit goodness. So this thing's breaking apart. What should I do? Well, it's not goop, so it's not gonna like stretch apart or nothing. I'll just do that, and then it'll just pop apart. And you can kinda do a thing with it, but honestly with smoke, it's no big deal. Now because that one is staying together, this one is gonna break apart. Wait, I just realized that is not actually another, that's just a shadow shape. Fooled me. Alright, here we go. It has been a day full of goodness. Let's see. I love that I get to end it with you guys. Begin the animations. Alright. Alright. Question I get a lot is, how do you know where to put those lines? The answer, I don't really know. I've just tried putting them in lots of different places on lots of different animations, and this is what I landed on. Alright, so remember how I said put Control 1 on the Smooth tool in tutorial number 1? If you select an area and hit Control 1 some, it makes it into its own little editable thing, which is really handy if it was moving the whole line like it was earlier. Control 1, guys. Smooth tool. Learn about it. Tutorial number 1. I'll just leave that alive a little longer. Little longer. This is sliding down like so. You know, I get it. Keyframing is a lot more exciting than in-between. Maybe not. Maybe you guys are like, no man, in-between is where it's at. But the in-betweening is like, for me, it's the satisfying part. Because it's where the animation, okay, so it comes to life. Well, I gotta think about what I'm doing here. It comes to life in the keyframes, right? That's where like you see the motion. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's doing a thing. It's amazing. The in-betweens are where it really becomes refined. You know what I mean? Like it goes from just being a random thing moving around to being something that looks professional, really. I just missed a part. Burp. Speaking of professional, delete that so I can put this in. Whoops. What am I doing? That's right about there. Cool. Alright. Let's investigate further. Control A, select your line style, select none, save it, and scrub. Ha! I missed another shape. Can you see it? I know I can. It's right here. So you can hit S, whoops, without anything. If it's selected and you hit S, it won't work. You gotta have it deselected. And you can delete the fill and show before and after. Oops, wrong color. There we go. Double click, select, and delete. Why not? Why not put a hole in there? Sounds like fun, right? Putting holes in stuff. Alright. Hit Control Enter again because it's blinking slightly less now and you can see a little more of the motion going on. How long have I been going at it? Nice, 39 minutes. Lucky you guys to spend all this quality time with me. Alright. We're just gonna go at it, guys. You gotta get an idea of how fast I really do work. I might experiment with the fast forward feature, and this would be an awesome point to turn that fast forward feature on. Although I've heard from some people that they actually get frustrated that the artist turns on the fast forward feature because YouTube has a fast forward feature. If you wanted it in fast forward, you already could have turned that on. Unless you didn't know about it. And now you do know about it, so you're probably looking around for it as we speak. But the thing that is like, people get mad because they're like, well, I kind of want to see how you work. Oh, I need to turn on the right kind of outline. There we go. You kind of want to see how it works because that's kind of the hardest part, right? Is taking it to that last 10%. Takes a lot more time than just doing the initial pass. Oh, I see what's going on here. Oh, so this and this are the same. Yep. So I gotta do a creative thing. Here, creativity. There, I got creative. Did it. Creativity, boys. It looks, it's all wrong. I'm supposed to bring it to this point because that's the matchy match point. Double click, delete bits. Oh boy. I do this professionally, promise. Don't worry about it, I'm a professional. Yeah, that works. Okay, moving on. Sometimes when things are like breaking apart, it's really hard to solve. Because, I mean, the break apart happens so quick, you gotta figure out how to separate those. And so, the best thing to do is to get creative. The worst thing to do is to draw a line that is exactly in between the two of them. Because then inevitably what you get is a line that is awkward. There's like a little gap. It's like usually ends up being a sliver of a gap. But what you want to go for is a nice clean break of a gap. So here's a perfect example. Sliver of a gap. You see that? You see right there? Because on this frame it's together and on this frame it's broken. So the natural tendency is to say, well, sliver of a gap. Sometimes it's okay. If you want it to feel like the two pieces, like one was like in front of the other one, and they're like sliding apart, great. But if you want them to feel like they were connected, and there's like some tension between them when they pull apart, you gotta be conscious about this stuff. So I'm gonna make it feel like they were connected, because that's how I roll. There we go. Alright, bring this up in there. Start that little gap. Bring this over here. That's a shadow shape, not another circle, mind you. I got smart this time. Can't fool me twice. The beautiful thing about in-betweening an animation like this that's not looping is it gets easier as you get closer to the end. If it's looping, then all the frames are about equally difficult, generally speaking. But if it's dissipating in some way or another, the last few in-betweens will go much more quickly than the first ones. Already I'm able to move through some of these a little quicker, which sure is nice. That flame, yeah, I'm gonna leave that connected. And I'm going to leave this all connected because I like my connected flame. I don't want to break it up too soon. I'm going to overextend that line so that when I draw this line, I can guarantee that they're touching. Ooh, my neighbor the truck is home. I'm just going to let the window stay open. My neighbor the truck. Sounds like a Thomas the Tank Engine title. Yeah. Let's fill that bad baby in. Let's see here. Go. Whoops, nope. This is the light color. Do I want that fire gone? Not quite yet. Go. Ooh, I missed the spot. Looks good. Oh, it's getting there, guys. It's getting there. I'm excited. It's so smooth. This is the part where sometimes I'm like nervous because I'm like, is it gonna be good? I don't know. Because I did all this work and spent all this time on it. It's like the 4th tutorial. I don't even know. Is this part 5? I lost track. If it's not good now, then what am I worth? I've already posted the first 2 parts on YouTube. Be discovered as a fraud. Like I don't even know what I'm doing. Yeah, I usually have those thoughts right about now. Because you can see enough of it to see that it's like pretty good, but you're not like certain. It can kind of cause you to go crazy and start making mistakes on your in-betweens because you're like so anxious and you're like, I gotta finish it so that I can make sure it's good. Notice what I'm doing here. So this bottom tip here is relatively stationary, but it's the top tip that moves a lot. Yeah, do that. So all 3 of these dots are dying. Not today. One will live. So just 1 frame longer. Maybe not even long enough for you to notice it, but it'll feel good. You just feel it deep down inside. Dudes, I'm sorry about like those of you that have got to work on like a tablet and you're new to it and you don't know like how to use it and you're having a hard time drawing all these strokes and you're like, oh my gosh, like he's drawing all the strokes and he's not hitting undo nearly as much as I am. I've been there. I know how it feels to miss your stroke over and over and over again. You're just, all you want to do is make the right line on the page. It's so frustrating. Oh, I've got a gap. Let's go find it. There it is. There we go. Alright, we can let this live a little longer too. Just cuts. Just cuts. Whoop. Missed that fill up there. Alright. I'm not even going to check my animation because I'm so close. Did you notice how fast that frame went? It's true what I said. Things go faster the closer to the end you get. Mark my words. It will go faster. This is just a circle. That's all that is. I really don't prefer using the pen tool during rough animation. The brush tool is much more fluid for that sort of thing. Keeps my workflow more, how do you say, artistic. So this is generally a bad thing. If a shape breaks off and on the very next frame disappears, that's usually bad juju. So give it just one more frame of life. So it's not like break apart and disappear right away. It just feels jumpy and weird when you do that. A little bit of warble, but oh my gosh. I double clicked and then I hit delete. Where I meant to double click on the line and hit delete. I double clicked on the stage, which took me out of the symbol with the symbol selected, and then I deleted the symbol. Thank goodness for Control Z. You ready to see this? Let's check it out. So there we go. Whoa, make it that small. There is a very smooth, very fiery, very bubbly explosion. I'm very happy with it. I'm sure there's lots that I could edit because it's hard for me to think and talk. Also, usually at this stage, there's like little things that I'll notice, and I'll just be like, yeah, I could probably change that, make it better. But long story short, I mean, having an in-between animation, that extra level of smoothness is what makes it really sing, makes it feel really professional. There's no wobbling. It's just great. It's just great. Loved working on this, and I hope you guys loved it too, and most importantly, I hope you learned something.